You're talking about motivation, how our perception and action are all contextualized by motivation and what we desire and what we want and what the preferred outcomes of our acts. That's I think sort of the crux and will probably be the focus of much of what we're going to be talking about. But just to say that vanilla predictive processing and vanilla predictive coding does not deal with that. It just deals with sense making. So it's usually in the
Right, right.
moment. As soon as you bring decisions and choices and actions to the table, you're immediately in the game now of making inferences about the future that has yet to be observed. So there are no prediction errors. It's just your expected surprise, your expected entropy or expected free energy, or your expected discrepancies between what you fantasize should happen or what you prefer to happen, and what you anticipate given your best sense making at the moment. So I think that inactive aspect, that choice, really does profoundly change the game and takes us from simple sense making into the world of choice and decision making and motivation. So mathematically, the way that I would articulate that as a physicist would be, okay, if we're in the game of minimizing surprise and this mismatch, this discrepancy that you were describing in the moment, then presumably I will now choose the things that I do in order to minimize the expected surprise in the future. And the nice thing about articulating it like that is that the expected surprise mathematically is just entropy. So entropy,
Mhm.
uncertainty, and I'm using entropy and uncertainty synonymously here, they are the mathematical statement of the surprise I expect when I haven't actually seen the outcome yet. So in many senses, what you can say is that we are motivated to resolve our uncertainty. And that can be sort of, if you like, carved into two ways of minimizing uncertainty. It can either be through choosing those behaviors that resolve uncertainty in the sort of folk psychological sense, watching the news, looking over there to see whether, my fantasies about the cause of that visual flutter in the periphery of my vision was what I thought it was. Was it a bird or a butterfly? But I think there's another side. Well, I know there's another side to that, technically an expected information gain, or an epistemic value. And that's, of course, I will avoid putting myself in surprising situations, being very cold physiologically, or being unloved, or being embarrassed, or anything that I would find surprising about myself. I will minimize my expected surprise by avoiding those kinds of things. And I think that's what, my reading of what you were saying touches exactly on that.